Attracting a high value relationship is actually a lot harder than it sounds because it has to do with who we need to become to attract the things that we want. And so everything is energy, which means that whatever energy that we admit, if it is not high value, if we're walking with our wounds, we're going to attract that. So if you have a history of attracting relationships that are not working for you, that are not respectful to you, that are not honorable to you, it's you. We attract what we are. And so in this process of attracting a high value relationship, there are a lot of do's and don'ts. I kind of want to give you like, what is this? How do I navigate this? How do I create something like this? Because what if we lived in a world where we had high value relationships were the norm? Because right now they're very, very, very rare. We want them, but who do we need to become them? We don't know. So you try different things, and chances are you're creating this high value with your ego of your success level, right? The things that you've done, the way that you look, the way that you build your body in the gym, those things, although they contribute to being high value, they are not the foundation of a high value relationship. Okay, so let's talk about this. So high value relationship, first, you need to have this balance. And the balance is that the hierarchy of needs is you come first. So your level of self-care, your ability to take care of yourself, your ability to overflow who you are and give yourself what your mind, body, and your soul needs is vital to this. Second is your connection with source, God, spirit, insert your belief system. A high value relationship cannot be built on ego. It has to have a spiritual aspect to it. That's the foundation of high value. How do you feel about that? And then the third is others. That's where you get to serve your significant other. If you're not overflowing and you do not have the connection with your soul, with source, with God, guess what? There's no principle to stand on. There is no value. It is a relationship specifically built on ego. And ego is our ability to be safe and secure. So we look out into the world and we say, okay, I need a man that makes this much money that looks like this. Okay. With men, it's like, I need a woman. It doesn't necessarily matter what she makes. Maybe for you it does, but it doesn't matter what she looks like. And then we get into like principles, right? Of like, here's the things that she needs to believe. This is the way she needs to show up in the world. This is the way he needs to show up into the world. And what happens is we have this mismatched energy. And so you have the energy of like online dating, social media. You have this connection of where you see somebody, but when you meet them, what you see and what you get are kind of not even close to the same, right? You've had that experience over and over again, which makes it really, really discouraging, but you're attracting who you are. You are attracting who you are. So I'm going to speak directly to the men. And for those of you that are women that are watching, I want you to feel into what it would be like to have a man like this. So a high value man is a man of conviction. He knows who he is. He knows where he's going. He can be a great leader. Without leadership skills, he cannot lead a woman. If he cannot lead a woman, there is no high value in the relationship. Okay. The man leads. He needs to have a really strong presence. So when you walk in the room, are you the highest energy of the room? Do you command energy, not in a state of ego, but and it's almost like this energy of the room is that you are silent, but everybody feels you. What is that frequency? What is that confidence level? And it should come from within, not from without. So it's, yes, dress nicely, but it's not about the clothes you wear, the way that your body looks and the way that you stand. It's an internal frequency that is navigated by having a deep inner connection with yourself, which means that, are you connected with your soul? Is your ego integrated and supporting you, or is it running the show? And then 3, what's 3? Emotional intelligence. Can you hold emotion? If you can hold the energy of the room, can you handle the emotional breakdown of a child or the emotional irrationality of a woman? That's emotional intelligence for you to be able to hold that. So holding the energy of the room, strong presence, having this energy of conviction that you know who you are and you know what to do. As women, in the very first second that we meet you, we know if you have it. We can feel it. We pay attention to how you open the door, how you speak to the waitress, how you tip, what your energy is when you pay, all of these things, okay? We also pay attention to how you speak, how well you listen. Is he actually interested? What is his intentions, right? We've got something playing in here. And we've also got this background of what we like and what we don't like. And so a man that's in a high value energy, you can feel it. You can see the way that he portrays himself. You can see the way that he holds himself. The man in the relationship is the leader, which means that he needs to create a vision for the relationship. And so, I had an experience that was really great. And one of the things was everything's always going to be okay. We're always going to be okay. And this was a repeated pattern. This was a repeated vision that brought me as the female in the relationship higher and higher and higher and higher. Leadership and creating a vision of your ability to tell them what this is, right? Standing in this conviction and this confident energy. This is what it is. This is what we're creating. This is where we're going. You guide the relationship. If you walk into it and you say, well, let's see where this goes. We don't feel confident in you at all. What's the point of entering a relationship for us? Here's a couple things, okay? High value women, we're already successful. We know who we are. We know where we want to go. We know what we're doing, okay? We don't actually need a male counterpart, okay? We have this whole life thing figured out ourselves. So for a high value woman to attract a high value man, he has to accentuate her life. Her life needs to be better by him being in it. Otherwise, he doesn't stand a chance. So he needs to show her, how do I make your life better? There are two types of energies in all of us, not to be confused with masculine and feminine energy. It's not male, it's not female. Masculine energy is the doing aspect of it. Feminine energy is the receiving. Women are natural receivers. Men are natural givers, right? If you're needy, if you're treating a woman like your mom, if you are asking for a lot, but you're not showing up in that energy of conviction and strong presence, you're putting her into a masculine energy and she cannot submit, which is what you want. Your natural tendency is masculine energy. Her natural tendency is feminine energy. But if you set down your masculine energy and you become needy and you do not lead and you do not have a strong presence, she will naturally pick it up because she knows how. Because as a little girl, and I'll tell you why we become high value women. As little girls, we have like our feminine energy and our masculine energy. And we realize that our little girl is actually really unsafe in the world. And so we put her away and we bring out the little boy aspect of us that is a hustler, that can grind, that has, you know, the ultimate integrity. And it also has we also have the ability to never quit, right? And what happens is for a strong man to come into our life, what we're asking for is to let this little girl, this sweetness of us come out, and it cannot come out until we feel safe and secure in your presence. So we're looking for consistency. We're looking for, do your words match your actions? Are you a man that we can trust? The men in my life that I have been able to trust have been long relationships where I've watched over a course of many years of their ability to be trusted. The other thing that we look at is it's not necessarily success level or the amount of wealth that you've amassed. What it is how do you navigate failure? How do you navigate disappointment? How do you navigate when you're triggered? We need to see all these things because we need to know, do you have the emotional intelligence within yourself to, one, get back up and create something better? Do you have that tenacity, that ability to like never quit, right? We need to know that your leadership skills are safe with us, because for us to let down our guard, which I'll be honest with you, can be really hard for us to do. When we do it, we don't want to have to pick it up and put it down and pick it up and put it down. We need to know that you're there. So who do you need to be? This is what I want you to think about. Who do you need to be able to be that version, that man? And maybe you're looking at this and you're being like, you know what? I'm not interested in this high value relationship. I am not interested this seems really, really difficult and really, really hard. I just want mediocre. I just want basic. I'd rather just settle for average and kind of tune out and kind of flow. That's okay. Like, this is not for everybody. I don't want you to think that this is the only path. What I'm telling you is there is a certain level of woman and there's a certain level of man, a certain kind, right, of man and women that what I'm seeing is a lot of high value women right now. Okay, let's just get honest for a second. I'm seeing a lot of high value women right now in the world and less high value men. Because the old way of attracting a woman was via your success level and that you could attract like this. But what you're realizing is that you're really looking for a very highly intelligent, successful, beautiful woman. Okay. That requires you to be a certain level of you that most men don't achieve. Okay. It's not a bad thing. It's just, this is an awareness. This is an opportunity for growth. This is an opportunity for you guys to like up your game. And society doesn't support you. You know, social media doesn't support you. You guys are really like not having the support that you need to be able to be the men that you are actually able and capable of being. Okay. So we're just gonna be real honest. Okay. So, here's a thought. This is an observation that I've had a couple times is your identity needs to be a high value man to have the skill set of a high value man. And so here's my observation. So as a woman, and this is something that I'm noticing more now than ever at age 40, is that I want to see, here's who you're saying you are right now, but how long have you been this version of you? And if you had to make an identity shift into not a high value, into I want to become a high value person because of this, and it's been 3 to 6 months of you creating this version of you, and you have not been able to like hold that high value version of you on your own for a long period of time, a couple years, your ability to attract the woman, yes, absolutely, because you're showing her high value, but your ability to hold that version of you as the relationship grows is not great. So what I find is the men that are like, they turn this like, okay, I'm going to be high value. I see who I need to be with her. I'm her. And then over the course of time, your unconscious self kind of starts to come out, the deeper program version of you, the version of you that you were 6 months prior to meeting her comes out. And now you kind of reverted back to old self and then she's gone. She sees it and she's like, yeah, that's not going to work. Because there was no consistency. So your best bet is to build this version of you to see if you can hold it for a good, this is going to sound crazy, like at least 1 to 2 years, actually really in the grind of being that version of you, creating the life of your dreams, becoming the man that you've always wanted to be, or the woman that you've always wanted to be. And when you can hold that version of you, then you can hold the relationship. But what's the point of attracting it and then losing it? A great lesson, right? Emotional intelligence is a very, very, very important part of the puzzle. If you cannot navigate your emotions well, which means that 1, you're a man, you've been taught not to feel it. 2, you maybe haven't been around enough women where you're able to hold their emotions or realize that emotion is just energy in motion. And so the discomfort of feeling it is just an old program, an old belief system that isn't actually real. And it's actually really healthy to release the emotion. I like to give some relationships of my past kudos to, I was able to like reel and let it out and just release without being judged, without anybody like making it mean anything. And then it was like, once the release happened, it was like, okay, so what do we want to do about this? And that emotional release, or however I expressed it, I felt safe to fully be myself, which is a powerful place to be, is to be safe. That's the purpose of a man coming into a woman's life, right? Is that she feels safe and supported and protected, right? And provided for. That is really valuable. That is, right? That's the innate like piece of man and woman, right? Coming together, is that was never held against me. I was able to just like feel everything, let it move through me without any emotional suppression. You guys, emotional suppression causes disease in the body, right? Long-standing resentment causes cancer. Like, we need to become more emotionally intelligent human beings because of the side effects and the repercussions of not expressing emotions in a healthy way. Who are you when you get angry? Who are you when you get triggered? Who are you when the world isn't going the way you want it to? Who are you when you feel fear? Those are pieces of you that you need to deal with. This is a journey of you and you. High value means that you need to take 150% responsibility for the way that life is going for you, because if you don't, nobody else will. And to be a leader in any organization, your business, wherever you are, right, in corporate America, in your relationship, you need to take 150% responsibility. Now, I'd also say the same thing for women. We need to take 150% responsibility for our journey, for us healing the, lack of dads in our life, the, the suppressions of moms in our life, the inadequacies that we felt growing up, right? All of these things, the self-judgment, the self-loathing, the lack of discipline, the lack of love and acceptance towards ourselves. Yeah, absolutely agree. But this is a journey. And I think the last piece of the puzzle that I really want to drive home with you guys is this, is that a relationship with the person that you enter into, the high value piece of it, is this constant checking in and constant improvement. This is not a linear relationship where you get in, and I don't know where we learn this, right? But it's like, they look at their significant other, like, you've changed. And it's like, yes, because energy doesn't sit still, which means who you were yesterday is not the same version of you today. And energy is either moving forward or it's moving backwards. So you are either evolving forward or you are regressing backwards. And so I'm going to share something with you that I share with my clients that might be helpful. Okay. Just understanding. So you have like, I'm on fire and my life is a mess. I need to do something to good. So this is like one section of evolution. So you're on fire and you need to get to good. So you do the work, you eat healthy, you exercise, you build your business, you become the person, you attract the relationship, you get to good. Life is good. This is the danger spot of good. If you're in good, chances are what you go into is this feeling of like, you kind of check out, you kind of lean back, you kind of get into the energy of coasting. Coasting, if energy doesn't sit still, coasting doesn't mean that you are going forward. Coasting means that you are going backwards. But what happens is it's like small incremental, right? And then all of a sudden you're on fire, and then you play the same cycle. So most people get to good, fall back to they're on fire, get to good, on fire, get to good, on fire. Okay. And they're like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Like, I get there and I can't hold it, because the skill set needed for the next leg of the game is different than what got you to good. Okay. Who you had to be to get to good is not the same version of you from good to extraordinary. Extraordinary is where the high value relationship exists. This is mediocre. Okay. This over here is high value. So you have good to extraordinary is the next path. This is the hardest path, and I'm going to tell you why, because there is nothing driving you. You don't have to get up every single day and go do the work. You don't have to get up every single day and go to the gym. You don't have to continue to eat healthy because your body looks amazing. You don't have to invest in yourself and go to therapy and get a coach and read the book and sit with yourself and meditate and, enhance your faith in source, in spirit, in God, insert your belief system. You don't have to do those things here because life feels good. You don't have any problems. Everything's flowing, right? Flowing backwards. And this is where businesses have issues, right? Where we have this cyclical, this is where relationships have issues. This is where our health has issues. All the things that you desire. This is the wealth building. Good to extraordinary is the path that you want to be on. And the cool thing is with good to extraordinary is that this is a forever path. So if I can get you off of this and over here, and I can teach you the tools, right, to be able to continue to build. By the way, There is no there. There is no autopilot, right? That's a regression. Extraordinary is letting yourself have the things that you want. Extraordinary is constantly growing every single day. Evolution and growth over a lifetime, whether it be in your relationship, whether it be in your health, whether it be in your mindset, whether it be in your connection, right, with spirit, all of those things, your business, it's this constant level of growth. Every single day, we either are going forwards or backwards. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? The high value relationship exists in extraordinary. And you have to not just get to extraordinary, you have to build up the skill set to get there and stay there. One session isn't going to do it. One book isn't going to do it. It's a identity shift. And most people don't realize that you can actually create your own identity. Every single one of you can become a high value person. If it's on your heart where you're like, that is what I want, but I don't necessarily know how to get there. I remember when I told the story of the body that I wanted and what I wanted to build. And so I'm on a 3.5 year track now. And I had a personal trainer come up to me at the gym and she said, I cannot wait until my shoulders look like that. And I was like, Becca, you worked hard for that. Like, thank you for seeing me, right? Thank you for seeing this work. Thank you for seeing the high level of dedication that 7 days a week that I show up and I do the things that for a very long time I didn't want to do. And now I don't know who I would be without doing that, because I shifted my identity from one that dreaded the workout and did it because of getting love and acceptance outside of me into the identity of this is who I am. And I am just a fit and healthy and vibrant person. And this is how I show up. This is the habits that that kind of identity would have. What is a high value person? How do I need to be here? And then it's still growing into that version of me, right? You know, taking care of all the pieces of us. But first I prioritize me, number one, okay? Me first, which means, what do I need? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough nutrition? Am I taking my vitamins? Am I going to the gym? Is my schedule adequate? Am I overbooking myself? Okay. Because I need to be in a state of overflow. Otherwise I have nothing to give. And then two, it's how is my connection with God? Am I meditating? Am I listening? Am I just, running to the pearly gates and praying and then running away and not listening? What does that look like? Like, am I engulfed in a world with God, right? Where I give my heart to God, right? So that way I am fully held, so that I'm not coming into a relationship in a state of lack where somebody else needs to fill my cup and take care of me. I need to be whole and complete on my own, and high value is whole and complete woman, whole and complete man. Now we come together. Step 3 is others. That is where we join together. After you fill your cup, after you have your connection, then the relationship comes together. It's a totally different experience. And it's one that once you get there, you're like, why did I settle for less? And this isn't like, okay, so this isn't like a hierarchy of like one is better than the other. I'm speaking only to those of you that desire this experience. We're in new times. We're in a world right now where it's like we look out the door and we see all of these people that when they walk out their door, they act like they're happy. They act like they're in amazing relationships, when we know deep down they feel empty. And they feel empty because they're lacking that inner connection, that connection with self. They're out building businesses, making money, trying to get the love and acceptance that they never got as a child, as a wound. And so business is going well, right? But they feel empty. They feel unfulfilled. They feel like like relationally, if they could just get the relationship to work, they could have the money and relationship and maybe the fulfillment would go away, right? There's a disconnect. And my job is to help you reconnect. So if you are loving this and you are feeling compelled to take the next steps, you have a couple options. Go to my website, BeccaGrabinski.com, grab a single session. 45 minutes. You take this intake. You go through this process, put a ton of time and energy into it. That gives me a really good snapshot before we get on the phone. So we can take 45 minutes and we can move all of the pieces that are in your way. I'm going to be able to tell you what's blocking you, what needs to be healed, why you're at where you're at, and what needs to change. From there, then you get the decision of, do you want to continue to work with me? Here's a couple of options. Or do you have what you need where you can take this and you can kind of be this self-guided process, or maybe there's somebody else out there that you want to work with that feels really, really good to you. Allow yourself to be supported. part of this process is that if you could do it on your own, you already would have done it. Okay? Let somebody guide you. Let yourself be supported. You are absolutely amazing, and you can be, and you can have, and you can do anything that you desire. You just need to become the identity that allows yourself to have the life that you want.